What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement, still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. Is homophobia real? So, old Umar Johnson clip, about homophobia, right? But then the cereal thing. And then I was watching something with the Young Turks, I believe, and how all of a sudden Joe Biden is betraying the LGBTQ movement. And I'm thinking about it like, what is actually the I think Kid Rock got in trouble just now, or a day or two ago. This won't come out until about a week later, so that's why I said a day or two ago. About how do you call it? About saying a gay slur at a nightclub, and I'm thinking to myself like, are people do people really have an issue with phobia? Because like the cereal thing seems to be out of bounds, because homosexuality is based in sexuality. So to have something based in sex marketed to children eating cereal, we're at a point in society where it's okay to market sex to children. You know what I'm saying? In the cereals that they love, Frosted Flakes and Fruit Loops and Rice Krispies, like it's like parents don't, parents don't do that. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That seems out of pocket. So are we so afraid of, is homophobia real to the point we don't want it and we don't want these people but at the same time, they got enough pull to market sex to children publicly? In a grocery store or on Amazon, however you want to call it. Like, I don't get it, And, I was reading an article about how they say like 9 out of 10, quote unquote, LGBT kids here with slurs like a third of the time, at least once a day. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay. And it was about kids 13 to 18. And I'm thinking to myself, how do these kids at 13 know 13 to 18, huh? Now, what's interesting enough is I'm sure they're definitely slurs. I'm definitely sure of it. But I'm trying to figure out how their slurs are more offensive and effective than the ones, our kids face on a daily basis. Like, ooh, you're not going to ask that to black kids because I guess it pales in comparison, And what is, and the question for me is, what kind of oppression are people really going through? Because you see the stories, this person made some, is homophobic because a business didn't make some cookies, or they made some cookies, or they made a cake, or didn't make a cake. And it's like, I don't, this is the best you got about oppression and unfairness. Like, this doesn't affect your employment. This doesn't affect, I said infect, I'm tripping. This doesn't affect your employment. This doesn't affect your ability to go up and down in the class and caste system of society. This doesn't affect you actually going into places of business like you. Well, what I'm about to say. See, I can't go into certain places. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did the story about Dominique Wilkins, right? He couldn't go into a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Because he was black, but they used the dress code thing. But the way I'm dressed now, there's certain places I can't go. But a man dressed like a woman could actually go into that establishment. See, I can't go because I gotta a sports cap on. I take the cap off. I'm wearing like jogging pants, shorts. I might not be able to go then either. You get what I'm saying? Because that'll be the excuse. It's athletic apparel, right? But a guy can come in a dress and get in. Same type of establishment. Are you discriminated against me because of my blah blah blah? No, sir, ma'am. Or a girl, like a woman can go in all of these establishments. Like, I'm black and I can't go in an establishment like this, but a black, white, Asian, Hispanic, even Arab woman could go in an establishment dressed like this, trying to take on the persona of a man and get in. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of one of those things that isn't real. You know, I remember being a young man, a teenager rather, and you have issues in school with teachers, and race plays a factor. You think these kids are getting, you know, B's instead of A's and C's instead of B's and D's instead of C's because of their sexuality? There's no school or prison pipeline for the 13 to 18-year-olds who happen to be LGBT. Like where is the fear is what? The homophobia is what? Because personally, I get there's an animosity at some points. I do. I'm not trying to be disingenuous to say that. But I think a lot of this animosity is in the American society, nobody wants sex to be on the forefront. Because the things that the gay community is so concerned about have to do with sex. So we don't want, heterosexual people we have a don't bring your sexuality out in public, like overly bring it out in public, wall up in general. So it's like homosexuals are trying to go over that wall, and heterosexuals are like, no, look, we don't do this in public, you don't do that in public. And you're like, no, we could do whatever we want in public. Like, look, we ain't gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. Because we have what's inappropriate line. Women could push that boundary farther than men, but there's still a line. So I don't think people are afraid of anything, but I think people are just I think homosexuality and heterosexuality, there's a line of what people would consider decency that, people are trying to push the boundary on, and that's where a lot of this issue is coming from. But I could be wrong, but I could be right. Tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Peace.